Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to March's edition of the Town Hall meeting. I was just reminded by a resident that I'm a day late and $1 short. I'm wearing my green. I said, well, that was because normally I leave some of my clothes in my office when I bike ride in and whatnot. I left my brown shoes and everything in there yesterday, so all I could wear was black. So you get it a little bit late, but that's okay. So as we begin our Town Hall meeting, I'd like to call forth Pastor Elliott to open us in prayer and then give the pastoral care update.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to see you all here. Let us pray. Dearest Lord, Heavenly Father, what a beautiful day that you have given us to share and enjoy with each other. We give you thanks for this place called the Lutheran Haven that you've created and continue to sustain. And as we go forward in our meeting today, we ask your presence here, that you might guide us, not only in this planning, in this review of what is happening, but also in our living, so that we might reflect in this community your glory, your purpose, your will. Dearest Lord, help us to always be thankful, especially for your Son, Jesus Christ. For without him, we would have no hope. Help us to live in that hope so that we might shine forth your light to the world. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Alrighty, you know me, quick and short, right? Don't laugh. All right, so I always start with worship because sometimes we have new folks who've just moved in that don't know the worship schedule, so it is there. There are 6 services on Sunday, one of which happens to be at the Harbor, which is the blue building right out the door here at 9:30. That service is kind of special. It is meant for those of us that are sometimes less mobile. You know, sometimes you might have a hospital stay that you're a little less mobile when you get back, and it's easier just to come on over here. Sometimes you're in the hospital, you miss a communion service over at the sanctuary. Well, we have communion every Sunday over here at the Harbor, so no matter when you show up, you'll get communion. That's great. So we welcome you to that Harbor service. You get to sit in your seat. There's no standing. We bring communion to you. We make it as easy as we can, so that you get to hear the word of the Lord and receive his sacrament. The afternoon divine service is scheduled for the 27th of this month at 1:30. I can't remember. It's either Pastor Sam or Pastor Tig this month. You'll figure it out when you get there. All right. The Lenten services continue on Wednesday morning at the school and Wednesday evening also. Except this week, the only change is the morning service will be in the chapel. It will not be in the sanctuary. It'll be in the chapel. Now, if everybody from the Haven shows up, it's 8:40 in the morning, you'll go to the sanctuary. You will fill up the chapel. But that would be great to see you all there. The Haven services for the season of Lent, the only ones we have scheduled at the moment are Monday, Thursday, and Good Friday at the Harbor, generally at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So if you have a problem driving at night or something like that and you prefer a daytime service, we encourage you to come on over to the Harbor and go to that service as well. It's the same sermon, it's the same material as we're doing in the sanctuary. Going off to Bible study, there is no Bible study this week. It is spring break. Kids are off. I guess pastors wanted a chance to get off too, whatever. Well, there isn't any Bible study that is tomorrow, but there is continuing Bible study for men's and women's groups on Wednesday at 10:45 after this week. I encourage you to either go to the ALF Monday morning Bible study. It's a half hour long. Or go to the Landing Bible Study on Mondays at 1 p.m. as well. Lots of opportunities around here to hear God's Word. Other events, I mentioned this one last month. That's the summer mission trip, the English camp to Sloka, Latvia. If you're a retired teacher especially, we need you. You can just email Latvia at the church address, sllcs.org, for more information. And they announced this week the Marriage Retreat Cruise. Last year they had the Marriage Retreat at Daytona on the beach. This year they're going on a cruise from November 6th to 9th. Email marriageretreat@sllcs.org for more information. Deaconess McLean is in charge of that, so you guys all know her, right? So she'll give you the straight business as to what's going to happen. Vacation Bible School has been scheduled for the weeks of June 9th and June 16th. So from the 9th to the 20th, we have Vacation Bible School coming up. We encourage you to register as volunteers to help herd the children. It's like herding cats, I know. But it's a lot of fun. They keep you moving. And if you have, kids, grandkids, no, maybe not kids, but grandkids or great-grandkids you want to schedule and get them into VBS, argue with your family about it, all that good stuff, go ahead and register them. Boy, nobody's laughing today. Okay. All right. The VBS offering this year goes to Lutheran World Relief Personal Care Kits. They have been using those care kits here in the United States, especially in the North Carolina region, from all the flooding that has happened. The monies that come from that VBS will be going to Lutheran World Relief to provide even more personal care kits. Other news, Comfort Dog Ministry. If you love dogs and you're still physically able, we'd love to have a couple more handlers. Work with Mariah, our comfort dog. The idea is for each handler to work at least one day per week. It requires a 3-day training session in Illinois, which will help you pay for all that good stuff. Just email Greg Register or call him at that number. Hopefully we'll leave that slide up for a few moments in case you want to write it down. And the last bullet item there is name tags. You probably have seen in the announcements lately at church that we encourage you to wear your name tags because people like me can't remember new names to faces for anything. So if you wear your name tag, I'll learn your name just that much faster. And I love greeting people on Sunday morning. And if I don't know your name, it'd be helpful to catch it off your name tag. And you can just call me Trouble if you want. That works for me. A lot of people greet me as Trouble. It's fun. We have a lot of fun with that. Yes, we do have questions. What do we got?
What is your name?
I love it. Okay, me first. My name is John Elliott. I'm the pastor here assigned to the Haven. And yours is?
Jenny Hanger.
Jenny must be new. All right. Because I haven't met Jenny yet.
I'm on the list.
All right, Trouble. I love it. Got to have a little bit more trouble around here. It gives me something to do. Right? All right. Any other questions?
Did you say there's no Bible study?
There's no Bible study this week. For the Wednesday morning Bible studies. No Bible study this week. And there will be no Bible study Holy Week. But all the other weeks we got Bible study. Anything else? All right. I think Lori's up next. Is that correct? All right. Let's ask Lori to come on up. Oh, she's getting the last minute instructions. All right. Here we go.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so I just have a couple slides to go through here. The birthday luncheon is going to be held on Friday, the 28th of this month, 11:30 at the Black Hammock. Just so that you know, the bus will start picking up the residents who signed up at 10:45 a.m. There's been a couple of questions. I guess it wasn't put on the scroll, but is hopefully now on the scroll. So they'll start picking up at your house at 10:45 today. Friday, yes, sorry. Never mind. Okay, next one. Rotary Club of Oviedo, their pancake breakfast is being held on the 29th of March. I have a sign-up sheet outside my office if anyone's interested in going. The cost is $7 per resident. They will have the Easter Bunny. They'll have an Easter egg hunt for the kids, so you can come out and enjoy that. And you can pay at the door for that. Okay. And last but not least, our Washington, D.C. trip is coming up pretty fast. All travelers should have received their itinerary by now. If you haven't, I have extra copies in my office. I will be going over every bit of this itinerary. It's very confusing. I have it pulled apart, and I have it all, down for you guys. And I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions, such as, what can we wear to the White House? We don't want to be turned away. So questions like that will be answered when you come over here, and that will be scheduled for April 17th at 10 o'clock here in Fellowship Hall. And that's all I have. Does anyone have any questions for me? No? Okay. Then I guess I'm turning it over to therapy. Oh. Kylie.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kylie, and I am the new occupational therapist here at the outpatient clinic. So, just to give you guys a little more information about what occupational therapy is, or physical therapy, I guess, first, sorry. So occupational therapy is to help individuals increase their independence during any of their daily routine. So any part from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed is kind of our broad scope. So we kind of categorize that in activities of daily living, which is going to be dressing, bathing, eating, transferring, toileting, and continence. Then there's also your other activities that you do throughout the day too. So that could be housekeeping, meal prepping, medication, shopping, anything else that you fill that time throughout your day. So who would benefit from occupational therapy? Everyone and anyone. But we work with a lot of diagnoses. So if you've had a CVA, if you have any heart failure, COPD, dementia, diabetes, arthritis, fractures, Parkinson's, nerve, if you've had any rotator cuff tears, any shoulder injuries, or if you just have symptoms such as it's difficult to kind of raise your arms now, or you've noticed that it's harder to open and grasp things with your hands. So if you've noticed any changes you've had recently where you might have been able to do something before and now it's a little harder, or you're not able to do it, then you probably could be using some occupational therapy. And then some of you guys are already familiar with physical therapy. So they're aiming just to restore function, movements, relieve pain, so you guys can live a better and happier life. So benefits from physical therapy could be if you've noticed you're also going through weakness, if you have poor endurance, if you have pain, or you feel like you're in risk of falling or have had falls, if you're having any health complications that are going to worsen with time, or like I said before, if you feel like you've got motion that's a little bit more limited than it used to be, or if you're at risk for any other injury or health complications. At the outpatient clinic, we accept Medicare, Medicare Advantage plans, and PPO plans. So we accept a good bit of insurance. And then next steps, we do have direct access, which means you don't need a script from your doctor first. You can come to us first. We'll do the formal evaluation, and then we will send over all of our details to the doctor to kind of get set up with how many visits you're approved from there. So if you want or are interested, you can come by the outpatient gym or call us, and we can set up evaluations together to move on with that. This is just a picture of our gym. So if you guys haven't been yet, this is kind of the equipment and everything. It is newly renovated from what I understand. So everything is nice, clean, and fresh. Any questions? Yes.
Where is that gym? I'm not too familiar.
Yeah. So someone tell me if I'm wrong, but it's in the harbors. So it's, if we were to go out these doors, go to the right, it's that in building at the harbors. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I put my information, and if you guys do have any questions or concerns, either reach out and call us or come visit the clinic. And next we have David.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. So I really only have two things. One is I want to update everybody on the filters and batteries and blowing out the lines. I had to push it out a couple of weeks, so we're actually going to start March 31st. I wanted to get it started this week, but we kind of got inundated with some work orders, so I thought it would be better if I pushed it out a couple of weeks. So starting March 31st, the guys will be going out and focusing on that. The other thing I'd like to bring up, any questions about that before I go any further? Okay, and I will also ask that it get put on the scroll so that like we did with the events, you'll know what area we are in on the days that we are in there to make it easier for you. The other thing I wanted to bring up was to ask for a little help with a couple of things. We've had a couple of incidences over the last few weeks with pipes getting clogged, plumbing backflowing and so forth. Please be aware of what you're putting into this system. You're not supposed to be putting things like wipes and paper towels and so forth in the plumbing system. It clogs the pipes, and it makes it a challenge, especially when it impacts your neighbor's house also. Please just be aware of that is what I'm asking. The only things that, other than the obvious, what's supposed to be going down toilets and sinks is you know, the toilet paper, the obvious. So if we could all just be aware of that. Any questions about any of that stuff? Yes.
Is there anything in particular that we shouldn't be putting in our disposals?
So the question is there anything in particular that we shouldn't be putting in our garbage disposals? And really, if everybody, it's interesting, I bet you almost nobody on the planet Earth reads what should be going in and out according to the manufacturer. You're really not supposed to throw that much down your garbage disposal, very small sized items. Some people think it's a meat grinder, and it's not. You know, that's intended to just put some, small table debris goes in there, and you let it run, but you don't want to put a half a hamburger down there and try to get it to go down the sink that way. You want to scrape your plates, and the same thing with your dishwashing equipment, actually. You want to make sure that you scrape your plates off before you put them in there, because all of that debris, maybe not once or twice is going to be an issue, but over time, a couple of months, a year, it will accumulate, and it'll cause blockage in the pipes, and then none of us really want to have to contend with that. You'll be inconvenienced because the guys are in there with snakes, or we got to call in a vendor and so forth. So just try to be aware of those things. That'll make it easier. Yes.
Dave, I heard that celery can be a problem because it's stringy and it would tangle up.
All true.
I just thought I'd mention that.
Yep. Yeah, what she had said was celery can be a problem because it's stringy and it won't break up. All of those things are true. So just, again, it's just a little awareness. Pay attention to what you're doing. Scrape your plates and be careful what you put down the toilet. Yes.
Okay, my dishwasher has a filter inside of it. When do we get it clean? Because I can't figure out how to get it apart.
Yep. So some of them were able to take the filter out. The other ones, I will tell you, at my home, what we do is, well, the girls do it. We get the teenagers involved here. So what they're instructed to do is I tell them after every couple of times you do it, you got to put your hand in there and take out this food or something down there if the filter doesn't come out, and throw it in the trash that way. If you want, put a work order in, I can have one of the guys come over and look at it.
Well, I haven't seen any food around the filter, but I don't know what's inside of it.
Yeah, okay.
Take it apart.
Right, so depending on the model, if the filter's doing what it's supposed to be doing, it'll prevent anything from going down that drain, those pipes there. And so that means you're scraping your plates well, so that's good. If nothing big is getting caught up in that filter. Okay. That's all I have, thank you. Raleigh's next.
Because I have a good memory, I'm supposed to call up Marilyn Ilsley to give you a shout out about our upcoming flea market. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, Marilyn Wolf. I'm corrected again. See, my memory isn't that good.
But you pronounced it correctly. Well, that's good.
You're welcome.
Well, this is your happy day because your status is about to be expanded. You came in here as residents and you're going to go out as deputies. I am deputizing you, as I like to do twice a year, to please help with the publicity for the upcoming flea market. I'd rather do it now and not have to wait until I assume we're going to have a dinner the week before. But here's the idea. We now have not one but two sizes. First of all, here's the main one for the spring flea market, which is Saturday the 12th of April. But and thank you to Lori. Lori always does a beautiful job on these, and it's just as bright and cheerful as always, and one of my favorites. But Janet in the office helped, and she worked on this, and we made it half size, which might be easier for passing out. So here's the idea. When you go to see a doctor, when you go to a favorite restaurant, you can have a couple of these in your car. Yesterday, Steve and I happened to start talking to a couple on a motorcycle where they were both from Fort Wayne. Found out Steve's from Fort Wayne. We talked for 15 minutes. And I said, hey, do you guys like flea markets and rummage sales? Yeah. So I ran to the car and gave them 3. 1 for them, 2 to give away. At some point soon, you're going to have one of these in your farm box. This is so you can put it on your own refrigerator, but also you can give it away. But you can have some of these as you go out the door today, because Steve and I are going to stand, and if you want the bigger ones, talk to one of us. If you want the smaller ones, talk to the other. I really encourage you to take them and give them away to somebody and spread the news. Okay? Thanks very much. I'm your publicity chairman, and you are now deputy publicity people. Yes, yes. You have a question? Oh, okay. Everybody good? Oh, one more quick thing. If you are new, or even if you are not new, we are always, always happy to have extra help the week of preparation, especially starting Tuesday. If you have nothing else to do, just come on to this room and say, whom can we help today? And we can send you to linens or to baked goods or to wherever, because there's always somebody that can use an extra pair of hands for an hour or two as we get everything all set up. We may send you outside as well. Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you that day and every day between. Bye.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Thanks, Raleigh.
You're welcome. All right. Well, I don't have a whole lot for you today either. Just a couple of things to bring up. So 2 weeks ago, we had a water outage. Remember that? Last week, we had power go out twice. Once during a storm, once during a normal bright sunny day like today. The good news is, right now, we have power and water. And the better news is, for once, it wasn't my fault. Had nothing to do with anything that we did. The water went out because the contractor developing the parcel across from St. Luke hit the water line on the campus.
And you get fined.
No, but I got some other plans for him. Maybe we can fund this place, shutting our water down. Then last week the power went out because of the storm. Was out for an hour in some parts of the campus. We lost it again. What was it, Jerry? Last Wednesday or Thursday afternoon? Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Clear day just like this, and the power went out. Have no idea why. They didn't tell us. But, so the 2 main utilities have been out. They're back on. I'm not sure what other utilities we have that are going to go out, but I don't think it's going to be our fault if they do. At least we hope not, all right? So that's a little bit about that, because I have had questions. What caused the water and what caused the power? I have no clue. You have to ask God when you see him, all right? The other thing is that our renovation well, let me go back to the water for a second. For those of you who live in Section 4, we have the non-potable water spigots on the back of the unit. So we have that turned off right now. That's off of a well system. We've got it shut down for a week for repairs and some other things on the system itself. It's quite an old system, probably back in the 90s or something like that. And when I say old, 30 years by standards, but there's some work that needs to be done on it. That's why it's down. It doesn't affect your drinking water or anything else. I know those of you who like to water your plants with that water are just going to have to be a little patient with us, okay? So maybe by the end of this week, we'll have it back up and running. All right, that's it for utility stuff. On project side of things, our lodge renovation's under full way. The painting's just about complete. We're getting ready to start the flooring in there in the coming weeks, in the front lobby area especially. So when you walk into the lobby after that's done, you're going to see the lobby area is going to be reconfigured. And so the idea is to give a little bit more inviting space as you walk in, especially to have a space intentional for families to meet with their loved ones over there. So it won't look like you've been used to seeing it look. We're making some other enhancements in there, like adding a door opener on the back door going into the courtyard area, creating an intentional space for the staff to have a proper break room over there as well. So it's coming along. It's just like everything in Haven time. That's not, not always us. Sometimes we have to deal with and wait on contractors and other things, especially in that kind of environment. It's not like the harbor where you had a whole wing of it that was, readily available to renovate. You have to work around the residents over there. So it's coming along. For those of you who don't know, and you should have known by now, but the pub is fully open. Fully, bring your own alcohol, but it's fully open. So they've been serving the hours, Monday through Sunday, 1 to 5 p.m. over there. So you can order off the fare in the pub and whatnot. It's been getting pretty well used. I have to say, popping my head over there periodically and seeing people using it. So head on over. Have a good time over there. We've even had a birthday party in there. It drew quite a good sized crowd. So that was good. Aside from that, I really don't think I have much else other than an update. You heard me talk last month about the new awnings coming. So when Kylie was mentioning the therapy gym, eventually you'll see this awning be relocated to the therapy gym doors. So that building across the street, the harbor, and the parking lot that's out there, actually the entry to the outpatient therapy is on that side of the building. And you're going to see that get recovered, moved over there, have a brand new cover on it that says Lutheran Haven Outpatient Therapy on it. And then we've got a brand new awning coming for here that'll extend out to the road. I just got the date the other day, and we're looking at about the beginning of June. That's how long of a lead time there is on those things. Yeah. Takes a while, but I'm going to just keep telling you every month that that goes by that here's where we're at in the process. Last thing I want to bring up is that we're 60 days away from hurricane season. Yeah, I know. Everybody's like, oh. I was joking with somebody yesterday because they were mentioning about the pool, and they were like, oh, the pool temp's great today. If you could just do something about the wind. I said, the last time I went to God with a weather request, I got a hurricane. I don't think I'm going to approach him this go around. So, yes, I know there's that big H word we all hate to hear and whatnot. But I bring that up because start making your preps now. Some of you are going on the trip at the end of April with Lori up to D.C., and then you're going to come back. We're probably going to be having a hurricane zone block captain meeting prior to that. We'll have all our information going out. And before you know it, hurricane season will be here. So make the preps now. Honestly, every weekend that I go to Aldi's or Publix or even Costco, I pick up a case of water. Just so I can have it. I don't have to, be in a rush should we have a storm event come up. I'm constantly checking my battery supplies and things like that. So I'm going to keep putting those little reminders out now. You stay ahead of it. By the time a hurricane season comes around, you'll be well prepared. You won't have to worry about it so much, and then we're just going to pray that we've oversupplied and we don't have an event. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. Okay. Any questions for me? Yes, Pat.
What about renovations in Section 4? How are they?
What about renovations in Section 4? How are they coming? Are you talking about the refurbs? Yes, the refurbs are coming along. We've actually got a closing this Thursday on a unit that I never thought I'd see get finished. So it's almost completed, and they're working on your cul-de-sac right now, as a matter of fact, and moving pretty quickly, and that's a brand new contractor. And he's doing it a lot quicker than some of our other contractors have. So we're starting to see some good things happen. I think if you remember last month, and I'll just reiterate it, I said last month that I found out something very interesting in the permitting process with Seminole County. And that was, we were just running into roadblock after roadblock with the county on holding up our permits. And somebody told me that there was a gal in the county that caught on to the fact that the county was classifying us as commercial business. And their permitting process is totally different than residential. So they had a county-wide meeting with all the inspectors and everybody and said, Lutheran Haven is classified as residential. And before you know it, our permits started getting released left and right. It was huge. Thank God. Okay? So, that's a good thing. So we're starting to see a lot of those things speed up now, which is a really, really good process. Any other questions? Yes.
Beer and wine license?
I'm going to let Jerry talk about the beer and wine license when he gets up to speak. Yoli.
I noticed windows, different windows being put up in the different refurbs on my street. One was Pellin, the other one was from Oviedo Glass. Aren't they all like the same?
Aren't they all the same? So she said she noticed different windows being put up, different, companies, right, being put up, and she says, aren't they all the same? Probably. I couldn't tell you they're the same rating by code, but they're just two different manufacturers. And that's probably because we have two different contractors working on that street, so they both deal with somebody differently. Okay? Yes, Mr. Kimball.
Are they getting any resolution to the problem with flooring in some of the homes?
Are we getting any resolution with the problem with the flooring in the homes? Yes and no. So, wow. So we were running into roadblock after roadblock, because you got the big manufacturer saw flooring, and it's this particular product. Now, the problem we ran into is we didn't directly purchase the flooring. We've had, different contractors using different companies out there. And so we finally got some resolution yesterday. One of the flooring contractors came back and said that 4 of the most recent ones that were inspected got approved for replacement. So that is because that's 4 less that I have to worry about pulling out of our pocket to fix right now. But it's a process because, why it's so slow, and I get this all the time. Why aren't you fixing my floor yet? Because unless it's been inspected, I have no recourse back against the manufacturer until it's been inspected and the inspection reports come out. So that's been happening a lot quicker. Nancy's been working her tail off on trying to get those floors taken care of. But we did get a little bit of good news yesterday that one of the flooring companies said, yes, we got approval to replace 4 of the floors right now. So we're going to move forward with those, but we're going to be moving forward with some of the other ones right now, and that have already been inspected, and go back after the company after the fact. Okay? Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Raleigh, I've got a small suggestion for changes in how we do the dinner reservations.
Okay, you want to use that?
Yeah, and I just wanted to ask you who the right person is to talk to and the forum to bring that forward.
Okay. Well, let's see. You have. He's got some small suggestions about dinner reservations over at the landings. And he says, who do I take that to? 2 people. One is Dave Martz, right there. He's the head of the food committee. Okay, and then the other one would probably be with Chef Eddie over at the landings. Okay? You're welcome. All right. I'll be around afterwards for questions as well, most of the managers here, but at this time I'll call forth our fearless leader, Jerry Griffin. You want to advance your own slides?
Okay, so Mr. Blumenstock asked me if I had good news or bad news, so I'm not sure which it is. So Raleigh just told me that we've got about 25 minutes left because their presentations were so short, and he wants me to fill that 25 minutes. So I'm gonna change. I had just like a 3 or 4 minute little thing, but I'm gonna change it to my presentation to comparing and contrasting the zero-based budgeting concept in secular and non-secular environments. So hang on, we're getting ready to get some coffee. We're getting ready to fly away. All right, so no, we got just a few things to update you on. What I would call my quick hits. The first thing is what I try and always do is thank you guys and tell you how much we appreciate you and what you do as staff and management, and not only for the recent employee appreciation events and things that you guys have done, and all the cards and the cookies and the baking and all that, but also for all the volunteering that you do for the flea markets and for all the quilting. I think I saw an article in the Beacon about our peacemakers did like 100, Marianne was at 137 quilts. So the heart of the Haven is strong, and I just want to thank you guys for supporting each other and us and our staff. So the beer and wine license, I think somebody asked about beer and wine. So Linda, you are licensed to drink as much beer and wine as you want to provide to yourself. Unfortunately, we still haven't been approved by the county. It's going to be a long process. So what we have discovered through our attorneys is, as weird as this sounds, Raleigh came up and gave you this great news that now they realized we're residential and now these permits are flowing and everything. Well, my news is kind of the yin to that yang. So the way it works is we thought that we just needed to get a special exception to the rules about serving alcohol near churches and schools and residential areas. And typically that's for a huge percentage of zoning designations, that's the case. We happen to be in the one zoning that special exception does not apply to. So we have to go through another process, and we're working with the county to and believe it or not, the county is wanting to help us with this as well. They understand how ridiculous that seems, but they still have to follow the rules that are in place for them. So I don't want to get, I want to be, if I'm going to be upset, I want to be upset at the people that passed the rule and didn't include our zoning, not the poor people that have to tell us that. So that's where we are with the beer and wine license. And we've got a couple things we're working with some of the men's groups, local men's groups, on how we might be able to kind of work our way around there, put a little detour around that regulation. So we're working on that. The next item is the residential living handbook. I just finished going through verifying that pretty much all of the last changes have gone through. So we're kind of down to our final iteration. I've got about 4 or 5 things that I need to clear up with some people, and then we'll present it to the resident executive council or committee, whichever it is. I can never remember. So to get their input and feedback on it. So that's moving along pretty good. I hope to be giving that to them next week or at their next meeting. Last on my quick hits list is the church channel, an update on the church channel. We're still working on that with the church. We've purchased some new equipment. We've installed it on our end. I think, Jeff, they're still working on the St. Luke's side to install the piece that they need to install, and hopefully that'll get that church channel issue resolved for everybody. Let's see. So moving on, you heard Raleigh talk about the H season, and everybody. Well, it's also, guess what time? It's starting of the B season for budget. So. I'm not sure which season is worse, and that it's even fair in life that they follow each other, but that's the way it is. So overall, our budget is based on the Board of Trustees, their objectives, and their guidance. So that's where it all starts. Their responsibility, as I think some of you heard when the board was here last year, Pastor Vanovskis talked about their responsibility and vision isn't just to you here, it's to the organization and the future of the organization. And that's what they have to do is kind of balance the needs of both of those folks, the folks that are here and the folks that will soon be coming, hopefully. And it's not always easy to do, but it's a balance. And they give us the guidance, tell us what they want, want us to do as management, and then it's up to us to translate that into dollars and what we think is the best guess at how we can accomplish what they've asked us to accomplish. So that's basically the overall piece of it. So if we look at where we are, we're just kind of in the early stages. So we're collecting information. We're starting to set up the budget files for the rates and the labor and get those all set up so mechanically that they're working. This year, obviously everybody was pretty shocked last year when this came out, and we heard loud and clear that you wanted more transparency in the process. So we're trying to do that this year, and the way that we're going to do that this year is to begin working with the president of the Resident Executive Council. He's going to be involved. I'm meeting with him next week to start the process and go over the process of how we create the budget and what things might start to look like. That doesn't mean you're going to get weekly updates on this cost or that cost. We're just getting involved in the process so that everybody understands the process. And the idea of that, again, is to share what we expect the cost to do and what that impact is going to be on you guys. And we're going to follow a very, very similar process. We adopted a whole new process last year, and we took some feedback, and I think in the military they call it an after-action review, an AAR, AAR, I think they call them. And so we based on what we got back, we are making a few tweaks to that system that will hopefully make it a little bit better. And we'll get some input, and we'll run those tweaks through Dwayne and the Resident Executive Committee, and make sure that we're getting as much perspective as we can get on that. Now, the one thing I want to say about this transparency process, and just to kind of put some boundaries out there, it's not about residents approving the budget. Or the decisions that management makes about how the budget is going to be implemented. That still stays with, as I started out with, that stays with the board. That stays with the board and the senior management. But what we do want to do, and what this is about, is giving you a clearer picture of what's happening and what to expect when it comes to rates, services, and things that will be happening on the campus, and the challenges that we face in trying to meet those objectives of the board. So that's the goal of that transparency process. And we didn't do a good job of it last year. And our goal, or my goal, is to do a better job of that this year with you guys. So that's pretty much it. That's it for me. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. With your board of trustees, they do the audits, don't they?
Okay, the question is, does the board of trustees do the audits? The answer is they don't do the audit, but we do get audited by an accounting firm every year. We have an audit that's issued, and the accounting firm that does the audit gives it to the board. So the audit doesn't come to Michael Ray, who's our CFO, or me. The audit is presented to the board. So, but the board doesn't actually perform the audit. The board engages the accounting firm, and the accounting firm therefore gives the report to the board. And then once the report is presented, we put it up. We put it in the library over here at the landings.
And how do you choose board of trustees? Is that something that people can volunteer for?
Well, the Board of Trustees, it's a prescribed format. The answer is, how are the Board of Trustees determined? The Board of Trustees is a prescribed format that was set up in the bylaws by the founding, I'll call them the founding fathers of Lutheran Haven, when the donation was made to the church. And it's a prescribed form. I may not have all the numbers right, but there's a representative from each of the districts that make up the SELC. The senior pastor of St. Luke's is always a member. There's a Florida, Georgia representative, a St. Luke's lay representative, an SELC lay representative, 1 to 2 members of the Andrew Duda family, and then from there, the board can then ask anybody else 1 or 2 more positions. They don't have to fill those positions, but they can be filled. So it's a very prescriptive format. No. The question was, could they be residents? And the answer was no. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I have a question for Raleigh. You brought up in the last independent living group meeting about the handrails for the mailboxes. And I'd like a status report on that.
Okay, Raleigh, you brought up handrails at the last resident meeting. So what's the update?
The update on the handrails is that I'm on my 3rd contractor. That's the update. Well, apparently so. I mean, just look at the tariffs on steel these days. I'm not saying that's the reason, but yes, one of them, the first one I engaged, no longer does handrails. The second one I engaged never came out to do all the measurements. So I'm on my 3rd one. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, and I think in some cases it makes it difficult because it's not a really big project, and so there's so much other construction and things going on that sometimes we don't get the attention that we deserve. Yes, sir.
Some time ago, we had somebody who was a liaison for the residents that went to nursing homes or had hospital care. Is that position still active?
Yes. So the question was, some time ago we had a liaison that would go visit residents in the hospital and help them coordinate things. And the answer to that question is that we had 2. We have our health concierge, which is Deanna, and Deanna is still here. The second person, Heather Howard, left to go be closer to family, and we've been trying to find her replacement. So we're actively advertising. It took us a while to find Heather, and it's taking us a while to find her replacement. But we are actively pursuing that replacement. Yes, sir. But Deanna, in the meantime, Deanna and Julie Clock can help answer any questions or help with the arrangements, anything like that you need. Okay, Lori. Okay. I believe then, maybe in record time, have a great rest of your afternoon. Thank you.